Welcome to the world we live in. Back and forth through the kitchen. All right, welcome to season 2, episode 18 of the Neutral Zone, where I am gifted to be alongside with my esteemed, talented, knowledgeable, and health nut, Christopher Stompanato, also known as Stomps. Welcome, Stomps. What do you have to say?
It's been a long time, Nav. It's good to be back. This is still season 2. This is like the longest season ever.
We want to keep the seasons long, so when we have our season ending, it's a big anticipation and a build-up. So we will be having the season finale coming up, but I don't want to spoil the surprise. Okay. I heard that we grossed higher than Stranger Things season 4.
I don't know what that is.
Well, for all the younger generation of ball hockey fans, I hope you watched season 4 of Stranger Things, which just came out like a little under 2 weeks ago. I enjoyed it immensely, but we have a lot of things to talk about today, right, Stomps?
Yes, sir. Sure do.
So let me get up our PowerPoint here. Can you see my slides?
Yes, sir.
Slides? Okay, perfect. Perfect. So today we got a lot of things to cover on the Neutral Zone. There's been a lot of developments over the past few months. I know we take a break every once in a while, but that's just because of our writers and our directors. They like to make sure that we bring the best content to the millions and millions of viewers out there. So sometimes it takes a little longer. We used to have a graphic guy, Stevie J. I don't know what happened to him, but it was a short career for him under the banner of the Neutral Zone.
Is that why we're looking at a blank screen right now?
Right. Well, backed by popular demand, obviously the Neutral Zone. We are excited to be here. We're excited to present you with the most entertainment value anywhere, more than you can find anywhere else on the internet, on the radio, on TV, on any social media. Today, we're going to cover 6 really important things. We wouldn't have a complete show without, talking about some current events. So we're going to talk to you a little bit about the NHL, what's going on. I'm going to ask Stomps a couple of questions about the future of the Blackhawks, get his opinion on that. I know it's not looking too exciting, but we have to deal with reality sometimes. We'll talk a little bit about Elon Musk. Of course, we can't ignore Elon Musk on this show. We do that courtesy of our good friend, Art Carpenter, who I believe is not going to be in town this Sunday. And neither will you, Stomps. We are going to have a theme for the show today. We want to talk about the men behind the mask. So we're going to talk a little bit about some goalies in the league. We'll highlight 2 goalies who have recently enjoyed some success. I want to talk a little bit with you, Stomps, about some league updates. I know that you attended a meeting yesterday and you got some updates on what's happening on Monday. I'll share what I know about Wednesday based on what Frank shared recently. I do want to talk a little bit about Woodridge and how it's going strong. Credit to Eric Garrity and what he's done with Sundays and what he continues to do on Sundays. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And we'll talk about the last couple of Sundays, especially the comeback ones that have happened. There's been a couple of comebacks on Sunday, which have been just like the miracle on ice, if not better. And then we'll talk a little bit about NBHL. I know, Stomps, you do some officiating there. And then whatever we know about the Masters team, I don't think we did a episode after that tournament, so we'll kind of plug in some holes there for fans. I know a lot of our viewers are from the Masters age. So that's what we're going to cover today, Stomps. Anything to add? I know we're going to talk about injuries as well, which we always do, but they're on the coming slides.
No, that's a pretty full lineup for tonight.
All right, so the Colorado Avalanche are going to the Stanley Cup Final. That was confirmed last night in their sweep of the Edmonton Oilers. Very sorry to Chris Sheets, who was, really excited about this Edmonton run. He actually went out and watched 2 games in Edmonton in the series against Calgary. He told us all about that. He had a good time. Sorry to see Edmonton go so early, but excited for the Avalanche. What do you think of that? Moving on to the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, I was looking forward to seeing the matchup of McDavid and McKinnon. And I got this, just a few points about that series. So you watch McDavid, we know he's fast. He's very smooth. He's a big guy, but he's very smooth in his skating. McKinnon is almost like an animal to me. He's got incredible, like an insane burst of speed. And he's just, I'll tell you what, he's amazing. He's scored some incredible goals in this playoff so far. And Draisaitl from the Oilers, he was playing on one leg and he was amazing. I mean, I don't know how many helpers did he have in the playoffs? Insane number. Yeah, so the Avs are a team on a mission. Makar on defense, that guy's just terrific. And they're the favorites. Here's the only thing that might trip them up in the finals is I think the 2 teams in the East have better goaltenders than the Avs do. So the question will be, can they overcome, if Kemper's hurt and.
Well, Kemper's hurt. He didn't finish the last 2 games of this past series, right?
Yeah, but he was out there as a backup, so I think he's going to play in the finals. So we'll see what happens.
I agree in terms of goaltending. I do think both the Rangers and Tampa have really strong goaltending. It's one can argue that Vasilevsky's the best goalie in the business right now. We'll talk more about goalies in a little bit. I do think that if Nazem Kadri doesn't return for the finals after thumb surgery that he received on an injury from a hit from behind by Evander Kane, that just takes away a big depth from their lineup. So who knows how they'll do, because he's been having a strong playoff himself. But they went on to win 2 games against Edmonton without him.
Yeah. I think you mentioned Vasilevsky. I think he's been exposed a little bit in recent games. He's given up a lot of goals on the stick side, blocker side. So
right,
he'll need to shore that up. You know what? I want to do a little shout out to the Chicago Wolves, who are in the Western Conference Finals of the American Hockey League, and they lead that series 2-0.
Well, good luck to them. So that's the semifinals, right? So then they'd go into they win that series. They're in the finals. Who's on the Eastern side? Do you know anybody? Do you know the teams on the East?
In the AHL?
Yeah.
Holy cow. I'd have to look it up real quick. And the reason for that is it's a couple of cities that you wouldn't normally even think of. So the Wolves are playing Stockton, California, the Stockton Heat. Here, I'll give it to you in a second here. On the East, since you're so interested in the East, we've got Springfield, as in Springfield, Mass. And you're going to have to help me with this one. Laval. I think, isn't that a Canadian?
That's Quebec, Laval, Quebec. Okay, so that's one Canadian team. I wonder who the NHL affiliate is for the California team.
You would think it's a team out there like San Jose or something.
It's a little surprising though, because the Wolves are not affiliated with the Blackhawks though, right?
They're not, because the Blackhawks are affiliated with Rockford, and
yeah,
the Wolves have bounced around a lot through the years. They're now the affiliate of the Carolina Hurricanes.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, back to the Avs. I'd like to see them, beat the Eastern Conference and win that Stanley Cup final. Vasilevsky to your point earlier, he has let in some softies. He actually started off really bad in that Leaf series, and the Leafs were up 3-2, and they ended up losing the series because Vasilevsky just shut the door. So I think he's capable of turning his game around.
Yeah.
But bigger question to you, right? Like, I read an article today about the Blackhawks and how they might be looking for a rebuild, and it could be tank nation for them for the next 1 or 2 years to get a high draft pick. Is that where you see this team heading, to be sort of at the bottom of the standings, kind of where Detroit and Montreal were this year, and start picking some good draft picks?
It's frustrating because I think the new GM, what's his name, Kyle Davidson, he's come in and said, 3 to 5 years or something like that. But they have been bad for at least 5 years already. So what are we going to have? 10 straight mediocre years? I think their next big move is to hire a coach. And Bruce Cassidy just was fired by the Bruins. He used to play for the Hawks. So I don't know if there's a fit there. If who wants to come in and be part of a rebuild? That's the thing.
I read something about Kyle Davidson today as well. Kyle Davidson, you probably wonder what I'm reading, because I truly am being honest here. I did read an article about Kyle Davidson, the GM of the Blackhawks, and Kyle Dubas, the GM of the Leafs. And apparently there's some discussion around the Hawks taking on the contract of Peter Mrazek, which the Leafs need to offload in order for them to get Jack Campbell. So those two GMs, apparently they have a history of not getting along. So I heard that they maybe put some of their baggage in the past. So I hope, for the sake of the Leafs, that they can orchestrate this deal, because Peter Mrazek is a disaster.
Well, yeah, so that doesn't excite me.
But doesn't that help you guys get to what you want to achieve, which is being on the bottom of the league, so you can get that? I think Peter Mrazek will be a ticket to last place. Hey, speaking of coaches, did you hear, and coaches of the Hawks, or / ex-coaches of the Hawks, I also read somewhere that Joel Quenneville is looking to make his re-entry into the NHL again. Did you hear about that?
I heard little rumblings. I was watching, I don't know what game, and they brought it up, but I mean, it's not a big surprise, but we'll see.
Well, there's a lot of teams that could use his services. I know he's had some discussions with Gary Bettman, and let's see what happens with him. That drama will continue to unfold. Hey, listen, Stomps, you're a guy that's very familiar with working from home, right? And a lot of people have been, like, post-pandemic, but you've worked from home even before the pandemic. You've been very acclimated. You probably have a really nice setup in your home office there. I wanted to ask you, 5 days ago, I think it was 5 or 7 days ago, Elon Musk declared he's ending the working from home for all the Tesla staff. You took a lot of heat for that. As a guy working from home, how do you feel about that comment? Because I know you support some of Elon Musk's principles. So I wanted to, how did you reconcile your feelings for Elon Musk and working from home?
My situation is a little bit different. Our company's nowhere near here, so I'm truly a remote employee. It's not like my office is a 20-minute drive away and I'm working from home. My office is in Pittsburgh, so a little bit different. I mean, I tend to agree with him, because I don't, what's going on now, people have discovered, I can work from home. Well, it's not for everyone. Not everyone's a good fit for working from home. We had a situation at our company where somebody working from home literally took our job and a job from another company and worked them simultaneously for a few days to determine which one she liked better. And then just told her supervisor at our company, I like the other job better. See you later.
Oh, wow.
So that's kind of what you're getting. I mean, there's all kinds of things happening now.
But I know how busy you get working from home. It's almost like, I can't imagine that. Like, I work from home too as a remote-based employee. I'm just so busy that I almost feel like, because I've experienced working remotely as well as going to the office. And at least from my perspective, I feel like the productivity has increased because, when you're at home, it's almost like there's a there's an artificial barrier between work and leisure. You will leave your home office and you're in your living room or wherever. It's there's no balance between the two, I feel like.
I mean, you could be right about that. I mean, I think when you find when you go to an office, there's a lot of distractions. There's always the person stopping at your desk to chit chat about whatever. So there are a lot of, just you got to have self-discipline regardless.
Right.
That's what it comes down to.
Right. I agree with you. So we'll have to also check in what Art thinks about this, but I also don't know if he's going to be attracting lots of talent. And that's something you got to be careful with. He's successful, but running a company's and you need people to be successful. So let's see what happens. I'm a big Elon Musk fan. I made that public. Let's see more to come on that. Hey, Stomps, you're really well connected to a lot of people in the league. Tell me, what's going on with the injury report? How are our players in the Chicago ball hockey doing? How are they faring? Is there any notable injuries that you can share with us?
I was trying to think of this, across the various leagues. I mean, I don't know, the two that jumped out at me, you have Dance, who had knee surgery a number of months ago, and I reached out to him, and he says it's going slowly. He's got to follow up. I reminded him that he's elderly now, so it's going to take him longer, and he agreed with that. I know John Kelly was hurt for a while, and he's been back a little bit. Those are the major ones. I know one of the girls on the green team, the Southsiders, and I don't know her name, forgive me, but I mean, her like whole leg was in a cast. I think she's on crutches.
Okay.
So I don't know if she blew out a knee and had certain, I mean, I have no idea.
Well, we wish. I know one of the girls from the green team and part of the Southsiders franchise, Larissa Cernis
You mean
Low.
Low?
Yeah, Low. She's got a leg injury, which I think came from a ice hockey injury and transformed into shin splint. So she hasn't been out. So I know she's definitely been injured. I haven't seen Jim Brill around the league that much, but I think he won a championship yesterday, didn't he?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. So that's good to see him back. Um, Chico moved to Michigan, I believe.
Yeah, I remember him talking about that, and then he was gone. So it's like, wow, yeah, haven't seen good old Chico.
Yeah, we haven't seen him. Hopefully, he'll make a little guest appearance in the coming weeks. Well, we apologize if we've missed anybody that's injured. Make sure you get a chance to just keep us posted on your injuries so we can remind the viewers to wish you well. So today we're going to talk briefly about the men behind the mask. We have done some goalie segments in the past. However, we wanted to sort of highlight a couple of goalies today, and I think Stomps, you're really good at talking through some of the goalies. I'm going to name a couple of goalies, and I'm going to ask you to kind of give me one word that describes that goalie to you, okay? And then for the goalies that I forget, you mention them back to me, and I'll come up with the one word. So let me start with you. First goalie, Art Carpenter.
One word?
Yeah.
Battler.
Is that even a word?
Yes, he's a battler out there. He scrambles a lot. We know about his verbal forays out there as he's
Screen,
screen, and then some other more colorful words. Yes.
Okay.
Art Carpenter's a battler.
He's a battler. Okay, how about Chris Hay?
Can I do two words?
Yeah, for sure.
much improved.
Much improved.
And
Okay.
you know, Chris he's taken the goaltending thing by the horns, and he I don't know if anybody played more hockey than him at Glencoe. He was filling in for a lot of different teams. He was like playing all the games some nights. So, you know, he's taking it seriously, and he's doing a good job, I think.
Rocco?
Superb.
Wow.
Rocco's tremendous. He comes to the game early. He gets out there and goes into his Tai Chi stretching, which I'm always fascinated by. And then it pays dividends because his flexibility in there is probably second to none.
Right. I had a feeling you'd have nice things to say about him because of the Italian brotherhood. How about Bobby D?
Bobby D, tremendous. Now, Bobby D's the total opposite of Rocco. Whereas Rocco gets there early and does the stretching and everything, Bobby D's usually in his suit and tie, dragging his goalie equipment into the arena 2 minutes before puck drop.
Right. He must have
And then
he must have a very demanding job.
Bobby, how do I put this? Bobby has had the good fortune of playing with some teams, but he's outstanding out there. I mean, you know, he's a battler too. I mean, he's fiery sometimes, and you know, but tremendous. That's
He reminds me of that goalie from Sweden that played on the New York Rangers, Lundqvist.
Henrik Lundqvist.
They both have really good hair. Bobby's like the best looking goalie, I'd say, in the league. No disrespect to the other goalies, but he's a handsome young man. Okay, how about John Zilgies?
I haven't seen John in goal for a long time. John's another guy that'll battle you. You know, he's one of those many Woodridge goaltenders who, you know, you're going to face a lot of orange during those games, and you know you got to be on your toes. And John's always giving you a solid effort. One of these days you'll see him in there with the cigarette dangling from it out through his mask.
Right.
You know, so.
Well, John Zilgies, I'm not going to spoil this thunder, but I might as well just say it now. 3 weeks ago, there was a Woodridge game, and I wish I had the score sheet here. John Zilgies was our goalie. Entering the third period at Woodridge, we were down 12-5. And I could be 12-6, but I think it was 12-5. My team with John Zilgies, Tim, Anthony, Sam Ansari, Steve Cementek, Fuzz, and I apologize if I'm missing anybody. Anthony Martino, did I say him?
You did.
We ended up coming back and winning that game 16-15, and John Zilgies was our goalie. It was an incredible game, one of the greatest Woodridge comebacks of all time. But let's get back to the topic. How about Lou? He plays goal, doesn't he?
Lou the lefty. Lou, who greets me every time he sees me, he says he will never forgive me. And that's for breaking his championship shutout.
Oh.
With a couple seconds left in the game.
I remember that. You were fired up when you
Lou is tremendous in goal, though. I mean, Lou should always be an option on most teams if you don't have a goalie and you need somebody to fill in.
Yeah,
you should bring in Lou because he's tremendous. Lefty goalies are interesting. They all seem to. He reminds me of Greg Millen, who was a lefty in the NHL back in the day.
But I think he's a right-handed shooter.
True.
And he's got a very underrated slap shot. I like his shot actually. He's got a good shot. Steve Fiorito.
Panther. Steve is so funny. He'll just makes you laugh with some of the things he says and how he carries himself, and how 15 seconds into the game at Woodridge he's yelling already for how much time's left in the period.
Yeah, exactly.
And how old is Steve? 60?
I think he's 64.
Yeah, and I mean, so that's pretty darn good that he's still in there playing goal.
Right.
That's a lot to be said for that.
I hope I haven't forgotten any prominent goalies. There are two goalies we're going to cover today, so I didn't mention them on purpose because we're going to talk about them shortly. Nothing comes to top of your mind in terms of any obvious ones that I missed, right?
David Wagner.
David Wagner, referee slash
defenseman
slash
GM
slash goalie. Okay, David Wagner, thanks. What comes to me on him as a goalie is I would just say regimented. I mean, I think he's very regimented with his warm up, where the net is. I've seen him. Evolve even as a goalie the past 3 years. He was our first goalie on Dynamo, and he's a technically sound goalie. I mean, also Brian Howes. Brian Howes, another goalie that he's going to be part of that Wednesday league, co-GMing with me on the Wednesday league on Dynamo.
Adam Bruno,
another. Oh yeah, another. I would call him. What's a good word for him? I mean, he looks courageous in the net. He just looks like he's like a lion in there. He looks.
How about Eric Garrity?
Eric Garrity hasn't played goalie much, but I know that Eric's another solid goalie. He's got a lot of good. He's got a great resume as well.
And I call Andre Jungerman.
Yeah,
I call him the Dominic Hasek of Woodridge because of his acrobatic style.
Yeah, I think Art's pretty acrobatic too. Oh, Troy Dante.
Missing in action. Haven't seen him in a long time.
Hopefully we'll see him back. He's he's a great goalie as well.
Yeah, very sound and without question, yeah.
So it looks like congratulations are in order for some of our senior goalies. We'll start from the left with Dave Schmiel. You want to share the news with Dave Schmiel?
Dave has a lot of heart. He got dropped into a situation where a team at Glencoe needed a goaltender, and he led them to the championship under oppressively hot conditions. So I don't know, what is that, over 10,000 championships now for Dave Schmiel? What a resume.
Yeah. He's won a championship every year, but he continues to win. He won with the Toros, I think, most recently last July, I believe.
Correct.
So he won that week. That was the last time the Toros won the Monday League. And then on the guy on the right, Billy Jacques, I think he's like fine wine, actually. I think he's getting better as he ages.
Well, that picture is from last night when Team White defeated Team Black, led by Billy. But he also, I think, won the championship at that Sunday 3-on-3 tournament that recently took place at Palatine. So he's added a couple pieces of hardware to his mantle.
That's incredible. Good for him. Congratulations to both Dave Schmiel and Billy Jacques continuing to win. Billy represents the Masters team, and I think the backup this year was Bobby D, if I'm not mistaken. And then he went out to another tournament. Him and Brian Howes a couple weeks ago in Pittsburgh, I believe.
Correct, yeah.
So he continues to travel. Good for him. I did want to congratulate him on a new career endeavor as well. He started a new position, so good for him. Congratulations. I'm going to stop sharing PowerPoint here for a second.
Well,
And
congrats to Team White. Team White did a
Yeah.
great job last night.
yeah, congratulations to Team White.
Eddie Del Castillo's fine crew.
That's right. So Team White was banging on the door for quite some time, and then they finally got the win. So that's good news to see them, finally get there. They got some good guys on that team. So Stomps, tell me what you know about the Monday session, as I believe you're a president and managers meeting yesterday.
Well, I mean, it appears that Gentlemen's Club will be entering a team. So that means there'll be 7 teams. So far, not a ton of personnel changes among the teams. I mean, I know the Toros picking up Tommy Broughton, veteran D-man. But I don't know about a lot of other well, breaking news was revealed to me last night that Jeremy Fredette is not going to play on Monday, at least for this next session. So that's a big blow for Team Yellow, if that comes to pass. But so yeah, 7 teams. So, and I think the way we're figuring it is, a lot of guys that'll play on Gentlemen's Club will play on other teams, whether it's blue or white or whatever team. So it'll be similar to this last session when GC was in for like the first half, where let's say blue plays GC, you'll have an option of who you want to play with. You could play with both teams, obviously not in the same game, but you'll be able to be on both rosters.
Is GC going to play only half the league season again, though?
That was not mentioned. My impression was they would be in it for the whole session. They would be playoff eligible in this session. This team that finishes in 7th place would not make the playoffs. But, I had the idea that, if you got into a situation where, let's just say the championship game was GC against White, and maybe a number of guys from White would want to play on GC, you could pull some people from the 7th place team that did not make the playoffs to fill in the roster, just to make sure it's a competitive game. So,
Okay.
I think we'll have to see what happens. So I think if people want to play with their normal team and they end up playing with Gentlemen's Club, you would have to pay 2 fees. So there's that consideration too, of course. So that's what I know at this point. And I think it starts right up on Monday.
Okay, good. And then I know a little bit about the Wednesday league. I believe there's 4, maybe 5 GMs now that I think David Wagner said that there's 5 GMs. The structure for that is that each team has a GM goalie and a GM player, and then they have 4 additional players that stay with that team. And then what happens is the rest of the roster gets filled up by players that confirm their attendance through the app.
Free agents.
The free agents. So there's pairings for GMs, and then there's 4 guys that you get. On June 6th, which was yesterday, Frank posted we still need around 15 more players to sign up for Wednesday night in order to make this league work. So right now, we're doing a public service announcement on the Neutral Zone, season 2, episode 18. If you know anybody or you are someone that hasn't signed up for the Wednesday league, please do so in order for this new innovative league to really get tested to see if it has any legs, because we can't do a pilot here without having more players sign up. So I don't know how it's going to work, but I think that's part of the experimentation. I'm looking forward to it. And it's, just a little plug here. To me, the way I look at this is it's the rebirth of Dynamo. So I'm excited about Dynamo entering into that Wednesday as I get to be GMing alongside with Brian Howes. So that's kind of what's happening. I don't want to share anything else with what are the composition of the teams and the GMs, because I think Frank hasn't announced it yet. So maybe what we'll do is we'll have Frank on an upcoming episode so we can kind of go through those rosters. But I think we still need some things to be finalized before we can share any more information, Stomps. Stomps, what's happening with the NBHL?
It's probably about, I'm going to say about 6 weeks or so into the season. There's been some really good hockey. There's been some really heated hockey, where the refs have had to, step in and use our authority. I would have to say, for me, the big surprise of the NBHL is the BH Kings. We're talking Rocco in goal and guys like Johnny and Sanj, those guys from the Northwest side, my old neighborhood. I think Scott LeClaire is on that team. So they're pretty solid. You could look it up on the website. I'm not exactly sure what their record is, but they're having a solid season. I think they've played really well. No surprise with the Southsiders and what they bring. When their team is there, they're awfully difficult to handle. We've talked about them a million times, but
I believe there's one team that's the Whipping Boy team in that league.
Yeah, the Palatine Union, which is kind of the house team.
Right.
They've been put in an unfortunate situation. I mean, I think a couple of other good players. I think because they've shown some fire and competitiveness when they have their team there, which has been a problem some weeks. I think they could use a couple of bodies, but yeah. So you got the Raiders and then you got the Stingrays and the Hornets, which are two, I will call them younger teams, which are, both of them are really good, a lot of speed. So the reffing the NBHL games is more of a challenge than the Palatine House leagues.
Right.
Because everybody seems to ratchet up the game.
Right.
A little more physical, it's faster. But it's been good so far, for sure. I think everybody appreciates playing indoors at Palatine as opposed to, outdoors at Kennedy Park in the summer.
Right.
Yeah, so far so good, I think.
Yeah, and Woodridge continues to go strong on Sundays. I know it's the popular game slot is the 8 a.m. slot. I think occasionally Eric has mentioned that he's trying to do a bi-weekly 9:30 a.m. game. But it seems like Woodridge is going strong. You got your regulars there, a very professionally run league with stats and updates and signups. So that continues to go strong. I think maybe some of the attendance has been hurt by the NBHL. And
Glencoe, I would say too. Glencoe moved to Sundays, which,
right. On behalf of Scully, I'll just share that I believe that the next session that was planned for Glencoe is going to be delayed until the spring of 2023 due to some enhancements that they're making to the surface and the rink. So
The
Scully.
Lightning have taken the lead 1-0, just so you know.
Okay, well they'll like.
No, you were saying about the renovations at Glencoe.
Yeah.
I heard $2 million worth. Now, this is not just the small rink where the deck hockey's played, but right next to it is a regulation sized outdoor ice rink. You know, so I'm sure they're going to be doing some stuff.
Well, good for Scully.
You giving me a hand?
Yeah. I'd like to invite Scully out to the other venues if he has time. I know he's a busy guy, but it would be good to have Scully come out to whether it's Woodridge or Palatine. We'd love to see you, Scully, out there in the coming weeks and months. Hopefully I know you're newly married, so also congratulations to Scully on his recent marriage. Good for him. We're happy for him. And we also want to just say kudos to him for building a strong league. Last but not least, what are your thoughts on the Team Chicago Gentlemen's Club? I think they had a very good showing in the last tournament. They brought one team instead of two this year. And Bruner, as the leader of that, made it led that team to the semifinals.
Yeah, and then they lost a close one to, I think, the team that won it all from Long Island.
Right.
And then I heard stuff like, this Long Island team had 3 or 4 A-level players, which wouldn't shock me because when we went to Philly last year, we came to find out, we were playing against A-level guys. So,
right.
It happens, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, I think they did a good job. I don't know where or when the next tournaments are happening.
Right.
I don't have that information. I remember there was talk about a tournament in the Key West down in Florida.
Oh wow.
There'll be a lot of demand to go to that one. So
right.
If that's true.
Sure.
Well,
look, we hope there's going to be some more updates on that. And maybe they go back to the old model and of 2 teams, maybe not, because looks like they celebrated some success with going with the 1-team model. But time will tell. Lots can happen from now until April of 2023. Stomps, to all the viewers at home, you tuned in today to season 2, episode 18 of the Neutral Zone, alongside my co-host, reputable Stomps. Do you have any closing comments to the millions and millions of viewers out there? Are you going to tell them to like the video? And I'll tell them to subscribe, but I think it's important for you to get some likes on this video.
It would be nice to get some likes. It takes a second to click like. If you like Nav, everybody likes Nav. I don't know who likes me, but click like. You love people to subscribe to your tremendous channel, but hopefully we get a lot of views. We haven't been on the air for a while for whatever reason. But I hope everybody has a great some hockey or whatever you do with your families. And then we'll have another episode, I'm sure, when we can build up some things to talk about.
Excellent. Okay, Stomps, that was a great closing. I can't top that. For all of you who support us, thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you very shortly at the rink, whatever rink it is. We seem to get to every single rink, between Glencoe, Woodridge, Palatine. So hopefully for all of you, we get a chance to see you. In advance, happy Father's Day. I think that's coming up in 10, 12 days or something like that. And we're going to close. So thank you very much. You watched season 2, episode 18 of The Neutral Zone.
Remembering the nights we spent out, seems so far away, distant in the dream.